Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Hello and welcome to the live stream. Today it is the February 2026 monthly update. I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm going to put the microphone up to the computer so you can hear the noise it's making right now. Don't know if you can hear that, but that's because I'm currently rendering a video, which is why it's making that noise. Um, but anyway, yeah, it's been a pretty good month. Um, so we're gonna start with the things that I've done this month. The first thing is I've been to the charity shop this month. Only got one thing because one of the charity shops was closed. There's two charity shops where I live, and one of them was the better of the two was closed, and so I got one tie. But as you can see, it's a fairly nice one. It's red. It's got red, black, and blue squares, or red, dark blue, red, black, and dark blue squares, and inside half of the red squares and half of the blue squares, there's a light blue square. So, as you can see, it's a fairly nice tie. It's not made of anything fancy. It's just polyester, but you know, I don't mind what it's made of as long as it looks nice, and I think it looks nice. The other thing I've done this month is I've done a painting, my first painting in quite some time, only just the one. And I didn't record myself doing it or anything, I just did it. So let us see how I get this. As you can see, this is Discord. This is my Discord group for anyone who's not aware. And this is number 48, which was done from the 31st of January to the 6th of February 2026. And that's what it looks like. I'm quite happy. I'm not happy with this picture. It didn't come out very well on camera. So I'm very, very happy with the painting, but I'm not very happy with this picture of it. It doesn't show the painting at in its best light because it was taken in very low light in the cellar, and so the picture hasn't come out all that well. It would have been better to take it outside in the sun, but obviously it's sort of a little bit winter at the moment, so I haven't been able to really go outside, and the sun hasn't really been shining enough. So I might, when it comes to summer, I might take a better picture of it and replace it with that. But yeah, that's it for now. That's the only painting I've done this month. Another thing, I just need to open the window. It's boiling. Sorry. Something else that's happened this month is there's something wrong with our boiler. It's just on, like, all the radiators. All this month it's been going on and on. It might have started last month. I can't remember. I think it's just this month. The boiler is just on full, so all the radiators are just on 100%. And so I have to keep opening the window because even though it's the middle of winter, it's absolutely boiling because the radiators are just on 100%. So yeah, it's little bit of annoyance there. And yeah, the only sort of other thing that's been done this month is me and Digby have done a few more live streams. Because it's been over a year. It was October of 2024, the last live streams I did with Digby. But we've done 4 live streams this month. We've done 2 Gary's Mod live streams and 2 Minecraft live streams. So that's done pretty good. So very happy with that. And hopefully we can do some more. So that's everything I've done this month. Now on to reading. Now I have, same as last month, I've read 4 books this month. So let us go here. Again, for anyone who isn't familiar, this is the Story Graph. It's a website that I use to track my reading. And yeah, this is basically, these are the 4 books I've read this month. The Tale of Lundrevar the Dragon, Doctor Who and the Day of the Daleks, Finn Family Moomin Troll, pardon me, and Doctor Who and the Doomsday Weapon. So let us start at the first. So, as I said last month, the first book I read was, of this month, is The Tale of Lundrevar the Dragon, which I added to the website myself. As you can see, 1 edition, user added. That user was me. I added this. I wrote the description. Well, I mean, I took the description from the back of the book itself, but I typed these words. I added this picture. All these reviews. This 1 review is mine. I don't normally give full reviews. I'll always give a number. And as you can see, I rated this 3.75 stars out of 5. I always do that, but I never do these extra reviews. I never put the moods, and I never put the pace or any of this stuff. I never usually do any of this, but because mine is the only review of this book, because I added it, I thought it was best to do this just to give people an idea of what the book is like. So you can see pace, 100% medium. I said it was a mix of plot or character driven, strong character development, yes, lovable characters, yes, diverse cast of characters, yes, and flaws of characters and main focus, complicated, which basically just means somewhere in between. But yeah, I gave it a 3.75, which is very good. As I said, it was my first time actually reading it myself, because the last time I experienced this story, it was my dad reading it to me when I was about 8 or something like that. And so, yeah, it was very nice to finally read it, and it is a really good book. I really quite enjoyed it. I like fantasy. I like children's fantasy. I mean, the Moomin books are the same thing. And I'm also thinking of maybe getting some of the Wizard of Oz books, which relates to something that I'm going to talk about later, one of the films I've watched. If you look in the description, you'll see what that's all about. But I think after I finish the Moomin series, I might get some of the Wizard of Oz books by L. Frank Baum, because they seem to be pretty good. So that's that. But yeah, I gave this book a 3.75 out of 5, and I quite enjoyed it very much. The second book was this, Doctor Who and the Day of the Daleks, written by Terrance Dicks. First published 1974, as it says there. Lundrevar was 2010, for anyone wondering. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5, which is my average pretty much for all books, but especially my average for Doctor Who books. It's good. It's a good book, but they're all all the Doctor Who books are pretty solidly 3.5. There's very few that go above or below. It's just they're very solid, good books. Not fantastic, not the best books ever written, but good books. Solid 3.5 out of 5, which I consider to be a good rating. I mean, some people might consider that harsh or something, but I think that's a pretty fair rating for these books. Terrance Dicks is one of these authors who tends to stick to the script pretty solidly. He doesn't add very much. He pretty much sticks to the script. Now, I would say I enjoyed this book more than the actual television story, Day of the Daleks, Day of the Dead. Because the actual TV story is really pretty crap. They had a tremendously low budget. I mean, obviously Doctor Who was always low budget, but that episode particularly was clearly... I mean, they only had 3 Daleks in it, and the Dalek voices are dreadful. And I know they did a remaster, but I don't like watching the special editions or the remasters because they have added new effects, which I just don't think fit with a show from the 1970s, so I'd never watched the new ones. I don't like them. I just watched the original television versions. But this one is really dreadful. The voices are the worst Dalek voices literally ever. I mean, the Dalek voices in the TV movie are better than the Dalek voices in Day of the Daleks. But yeah, it's just a pretty crap story. And so this book was very, very much more enjoyable. And this is really, I think, the thing so far I've enjoyed the most about the books is reading the stories of both the stories that I don't remember, because I've seen every classic Doctor Who story, including most of the missing. I think the Space Pirates is the one missing one that I haven't watched yet, which I will get to eventually. But so it's reading the books of the missing stories, reading the books of the stories that I've seen but just can't remember, like the Master of Mandragora, which I can't remember, or I couldn't remember when I read the book, and reading ones that, for all I know, the story is really good, but I just didn't enjoy the actual story because of flaws in the actual way the television story was made. Hello, Digby, or Yellow, as you've said there. Yes, this is in fact, yeah. Now it's blue. Now it's yellow again. But yeah, so this, I would say I enjoyed this story more than reading the book more than the actual TV episode itself. Because when reading this, when the Daleks are talking, you can put the proper voice in. So they sound correct when you're reading it, because you hear the Dalek voice in your head, which is always better than the one they actually used in the actual story. In this particular case. So yeah, I liked it. I gave it 3.5, which is pretty good. How are we? I'm very good, Digby. I am excellent. How are you? So that's the second book I've read this month. The third book in the Moomin series, Thin Family Moomin Troll, by Tove Jansson, translated by Elizabeth Porch, or at least the particular edition that I read. I gave this a 3.25, which is 1/4 star less than the previous Moomin book, which was Comet in Moomin Land, which I gave a 3.5. I just didn't enjoy this book quite as much. I still enjoyed it. If I didn't enjoy it, it would have gotten less than 3 stars. 3 stars is like my average. 3 stars is a good book. Over 3 stars is a very good book. Under 3 stars is a crap book. So this is 3.25. It's a good book, but it was kind of, it felt more like a kind of short story collection with just like a very vague string running through it, keeping all the stories together. That's the element of the hobgoblin and his magic hat stringing the stories together. But apart from that one thread, it's pretty much like a short story collection, whereas Comet in Moomin Land was very solidly one story from beginning to end. And I think I just enjoyed that more. This felt more disconnected. It felt more like a few stories just sort of strung together, and I didn't enjoy it quite as much. But I still enjoyed it, and I still thought it was a pretty good book. I just didn't enjoy it quite as much as Comet in Moomin Land, which is why I've given it a 1/4 star less. You got a lot of songs finished and prepped for the next few months. Good on ya, pal. I haven't recorded any songs in months and months and months, so you're doing better than me. So yes, this is Thin Family Moomin Troll. As you see, most people have this is one that's gotten, it seems very popular with people. 4.23 is what most people have given it. Fair enough. But yes, my rating is 3.25 out of 5. And then the final book that I've read this month is Doctor Who and the Doomsday Weapon, which is the book of the television story Colony in Space. The Doomsday Weapon would be a better title if it was involved in anything apart from the first chapter and the final chapter. but still, I suppose it's a better title. Written by Malcolm Hulke, 1974, published. Yeah, I've given it a 3.5, as is usual for me and the Doctor Who books. They're all pretty solid. Very few of them were from 3.5. They're all pretty good books. This I did enjoy. It differs from the television story in one way, in that whereas in the TV show, Jo Grant, the companion, portrayed by Katie Manning on screen, was introduced in Terror of the Autons, whereas because this was the first book which came out with her, they put her introduction into this book instead, and then later when that book came out, they reintroduced her again in that. So it's another sort of Daleks situation where the characters are introduced in different ways in different books. I haven't read Terror of the Autons. I don't even own it yet, so and I only read books that I own. I don't have a Kindle or any of that rubbish. I just read physical pieces of paper. And yeah, but I quite like the way her introduction is done in this. It's just in the wrong book. But yeah, I still like it. There's a prologue involving the Time Lords and the Master, which I think, and again, this is also the book, or was the first book published that included the Master. Even though the way he's not like introduced as a new character in this, it's like he's always been there. But yeah, this was also the first book with the Master. But yeah, that little prologue scene, I'm pretty sure wasn't in the TV story. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've watched it, but I'm pretty sure it's not in there. I'm pretty sure it was just done for the book. But that's pretty nice. You should be at your premiere as one is live right now, Le Mans. Well, I suggest you get on with it then. Gotta keep your audience, you gotta please your audience, haven't you? You gotta be on the way or whatever. I'd rather say straight for that. Now you'll stay here, but that's alright then. Okay, so that was Doctor and the Doomsday Weapon, which I gave a 3.5. I liked it. Not the best Doctor Who story ever, but I liked it. And again, I'd say this is probably a situation where I enjoyed reading the book more than watching the TV story. Like, I've only seen the actual TV story once, and I'm sure I enjoyed it, but thing is with the books is you can... Obviously, Doctor Who was a very low-budget show, so there's a lot of stuff they just couldn't do, which you can do in a book, and you can kind of make it up in your head, and it always seems better. So I'd say, even though I can't actually remember the story, I'd say I probably enjoyed this more. But yeah, that is all of the books that I've read this month. Tale of Lundrevar the Dragon, Doctor Who and the Day of the Daleks, Finn Family Moomin Troll, and Doctor Who and the Doomsday Weapon. As far as the challenges are going, my reading goals, 8 out of 20 books, and 100 or 1,246 pages out of 4,000, which means I'm ahead by 5 books, and I'm ahead by 599 pages, which is pretty bloody good. So I think when I meet these goals, I'm not going to update them now, but once I've read 20 books, which, if I'm here by now, 8 books, so that's 1 month, 2 months, 3, 4. So presumably, if I keep up the same rate, in about 3 months' time, I should have read all of them. Or should have read 20 books. And then I will update this and extend it a little bit. And, maybe push it to 50 or something like that. Because I think I could do that this year if I keep up this rate, which I should. Because I've been reading every day so far this year. And I've been managing to keep it up. I mean, if I click on stats, as you can see, my current streak is 67 days. of reading, and I'm hoping to keep that up throughout the year. I intend to read at least a little bit every single day this year, so that's how that's going. But let's look at the stats for February. 4 books, 686 pages this month, pretty good. Average time to finish 7 days, which was the same as last month, so it just seems to be my average sort of thing. Moods mostly adventurous, a bit dark, a little bit light-hearted, and a little bit funny. Pace, all of them this month have been medium paced. All of them have been under 300 pages. All of them have been fiction. 2 of them have been children's books. 2 have been science fiction. 2 have been fantasy, and 1 has been a classic. Format, all print, because as I said just a minute ago, I don't listen to audiobooks and I don't read on a Kindle or anything like that, so it's all in print. All of them in English. And the reviews, 1 book has been 3.25, 2 books have been 3.5, and 1 book has been 3.75. And here is how many pages I read on each day, so I'll quickly scroll through this so you can see. If you ever want to know exactly how many pages I read on any particular day, then you can see exactly how many pages I read. And then if we go to just the year so far, 8 books, 1,246 pages. Average time, 7 days. There's all this stuff. Most read authors, I've read 2 books by Malcolm Hulke and 2 books by Tove Jansson this year. And as you can see, the number of books read from January to February remains exactly the same, so it's just a straight line. 4 books each, but I've read more pages this month. In January, it was 560 pages, and in February, it's 686 pages. So a 126-page bump from January. Which is just because I suppose some of the books were a bit longer this month, but only a little bit, so the same number of books. Try to keep that up, we'll see. Obviously, as I said before, I'm going to read more in summer because I'm going to be outside and I like reading outside, so you're going to see the number of books and pages read balloon during the summer months anywhere, but of course, if we go back to 2025, you'll see that at some point in September and October, I didn't read anything at all, which I'm still not happy that happened, but the plan is that's not going to happen this year. The plan is I'm going to read a little bit every single day this year, and so you won't see any more of that 0 pages read nonsense. And here are my average rating. My average rating so far this year is 3.44 stars. There you are. So that is that. And I've already kind of got a bit of a plan of the books that I'm going to be reading next month. I've at least like the first 3. I think I know what they're going to be. It's not even to read. Owned books. So the first book I'm going to read next month, I plan to be a reread of a book I've already read. This one here, World of Petavs, which is Larry Niven's first book. As some of you may know, Larry Niven is my favourite author. This I have already read, but it was so long ago that I hadn't yet been logging my reading on this website, and so I haven't given it a star rating or anything like that. So I'm going to reread it because it's been at least over a year, because I started logging my reading in December of 2024, so I know it was at least before that. And so I think this is going to be the first book I read. Then it will be a Doctor Who. This one, Doctor Who and the Space War, is what I am at the moment planning the second book of next month to be. Um, so there we are. Which is another one that they changed the title of. The TV story was called Frontier in Space, and they called the book Doctor Who and the Space War. Again, Malcolm Hulke. And so that'll be the second book. That's what I plan that to be the second book. And then it will be the next Moomin Troll book, because as I've said, I'm planning to read one Moomin book a month, just to keep a nice pace. So it'll be the Memoirs of Moomin Papa will be the third book, and then after that, I'm not sure what the next book I read will be. But yeah, that is everything that I've read this month. How nice. Then on to things that I've watched this month. I've watched 2 films. The first of which is a 1973 film called Executive Action, which is about the JFK assassination conspiracy. Runs along very similar lines to Oliver Stone's JFK film from 1991, but is basically just not as good. It's different in the sense that this takes place from the perspective of the conspirators. So you kind of it has Burt Lancaster in it, and it's a good film, but I've already seen a better JFK film, and so this one just kind of. But it was interesting. It was released on the 10th anniversary of the assassination in 1973, and it was the very first film to sort of posit an alternate explanation to the official explanation. There had been JFK assassination films made before, but they all went along the official lines of Lee Harvey Oswald and all that fiction. And this was the first one to maybe try and figure out what really happened. Because as hopefully my educated audience knows, the official explanation is bollocks. And there was, in fact, a conspiracy, as any intelligent, reasonable person who's seen the footage of his head flying backwards, which wouldn't happen if you were shot from behind. But yeah, I thought it was a good film, but just slightly spoiled by the fact that I've already seen a better JFK conspiracy film. But it was still good. Oliver Stone's JFK is better. And so that's that. And then the second film I've watched this month, which is what I was referencing earlier about some books that I plan to maybe get for Christmas. Well, obviously that's a long way away now, so I've plenty of time for the plans to change there. I watched Return to Oz from 1985, which is the sequel to The Wizard of Oz. And much, much better. I like The Wizard of Oz, but this is just infinitely better. It's dark fantasy, which is one of my favourite things I'm discovering in the last few months. I very much like a dark fantasy. Sort of that dark fairy tale kind of aesthetic, which is the internet's favourite word at the moment, aesthetic. But yeah, I really liked it. It has Jean Marsh in it, who was in Doctor Who, in both the 60s and the 80s. In fact, she was in the final season of Doctor Who, of the classic series. But yeah, she's in that, and I don't think it's got any other actors in it who I know. But it's just a really good film, and it is apparently, according to people who have read the Oz books by L. Frank Baum, this is apparently the closest film to the books. Of all the films that have been made of the books, this is the one that keeps the closest to the way the tone, the sort of horror tone of the books. And I really liked it. So this, I think after I finished the Moomin books, which I should have finished them all by the end of the year, because there's only 9 of them, and there's more than 9 months, so I should have finished them. I think I might I probably won't get all of them, because I think there's about 14 Wizard of Oz books. I probably won't buy them all, but I might get like the first few and just see how they go, because if they're anything like this, I think I'm going to really enjoy them. There's a great video by a channel called In Praise of Shadows, which I know that channel had like a controversy recently, which I don't give the slightest crap about. I think they make great videos, and that's all I care about when it comes to YouTube. I don't care about creators making videos about each other. It doesn't interest me. I just care about the videos that they make. And he did a really great video talking about Return to Oz and its relation to the books, and it's a really great video. And that's the kind of that which I'd already seen that video before watching the film, but I rewatched it again after watching this, and it is a really great video. And that video and this film has kind of made me want to read the books, but obviously I've already bought all the books that I'm going to buy for my birthday. I've got them all wrapped up, and I will gift them to myself on my birthday, which, as some of you will know, is in April. So still more, a month to go. I'm hoping to also get some shelves. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but if you see up there where those paintings are on the wall above my bed, I want to take those paintings down and put some shelves up there, because the shelves here that I'm staring at now are, which I can just show you about, these shelves here are all kind of full now, particularly with books, and as I plan to get a few more books, I want to put some shelves up there to split the weight, and to allow myself to get more things. The 8th, it is exactly that, Digby. You're the only person who's ever remembered. Anyway, so yes, it is indeed the 8th of April. And so I'm hoping to get some shelves at some point next month. I'm hoping my dad will take me to B&Q. Of course, I could always buy them online, but I like getting things I like knowing exactly what I'm getting, so I'd rather go in person to B&Q and get them. So that's the plan. So that's everything I've watched this month. Things I've listened to this month, nothing. It's not strictly two. I've listened to a couple of my records, but of course, I haven't listened to any albums for the first time, so I haven't put anything there. And that, I think, is pretty much it. So yeah, there we are. So plans for next month, I've pretty much already discussed them all. Read those books I said I was gonna read. Hopefully get some shelves for my room. Watch some more films. Hopefully, Digby, we could do some more live streams. That would be nice. Because I very much enjoyed the ones that we did. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, I don't know if you caught it, but until we did that Gmod live stream, the previous time we did any live streams together was in October of 2024. That was the last time we did any live streams together before then. We didn't do anything in 2025, which, it was a lonely time. It was lonely. It was very sad. It's a bit. Use code NattyBoy in any good corner shop to get a free can of Diet Coke. But yeah, or a tie. But yeah, so that is that. We'll have to make some plans for some live streams at some point, Digby. That will be very nice. And I will see ye all later. And uploads to the gaming channel aren't gonna start continue next month. I'm planning on maybe April. I might continue uploading on the gaming channel. But yes, until then, that is all for this time. Hope you've all had a good February I hope you have a good March. You know what we need to do next, Minecraft stream? Double our cat army. I'm already struggling to keep up with the number of cats we have. I mean, it's certainly an idea. But it's gonna take some thought, I think. But yeah, so yes, so Gav February at Martin out you in the net thing that I